The Quantum Enigma Prologue. The fractured dawn. The universe had always been governed by a set of unyielding laws, the laws of physics, time, and space. For centuries, humanity had accepted these as truth, but the age of science and discovery had arrived, pushing those boundaries. Humanity's thirst for knowledge had led them to venture beyond their home planet, stretching to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. A secret experiment on the distant world of Zenith had promised to break down the barriers between dimensions. The Quantum Nexus Project was its name, and its success was meant to revolutionize humanity's understanding of existence itself. But something went terribly wrong. The experiment's failure tore open rifts in the fabric of reality, creating an unstable breach between dimensions. The explosion triggered a chain reaction that would soon become known as the collapse. What had started as a scientific leap of faith became a nightmare for every reality, stretching time and space until everything began to unravel. Chapter 1: The Ripple Effect. Dr. Lena Qureshi stood before the remnants of the Quantum Nexus, her mind struggling to comprehend what had happened. The laboratory was now nothing more than twisted metal, scorched walls, and fractured equipment. The quantum core, what remained of the heart of the machina, hovered in the center of the room, its unstable energy radiating outward, distorting everything around it. Lena, once a proud scientist and visionary, felt a surge of guilt. This wasn't just a failed experiment. This was the destruction of countless possible futures. Why? She muttered under her breath, the question hanging in the air. Beside her, a tall, translucent figure stood, a being that looked human yet somehow not. He was Aaron, an entity from a parallel timeline, a survivor of the collapse. He spoke with a voice that was both serene and grave, resonating within Lena's mind. "You opened a doorway," Aaron said. "And now it's closing in on all of us." Lena turned to him, her expression a mix of confusion and frustration. "You said you came to warn me. What do you want me to do? The timeline is already broken." "The collapse is not complete," Aaron replied calmly. "But the rift is widening, and soon, no world will remain untouched. If you do nothing, all realities will merge into one, erasing every possible outcome." Lena took a deep breath. "What happened to your world?" she asked, needing to understand. Aaron's gaze softened. "My world and my universe was among the first to fracture. I am a remnant, a shadow of what I once was. But I have not forgotten my mission. And now, yours is tied to it." Chapter 2: The Fading Worlds. The walls of Zenith's shattered research facility were no longer stable, shifting and flickering as if they, too, were part of the multiverse collapsing. Time itself seemed to break down, sometimes seconds stretched into hours, other times days blurred into minutes. Lena and Aaron made their way through the wreckage, as she tried to process the magnitude of their situation. As they moved through the ruins, they encountered strange beings or entities that had slipped through from alternate realities, lost fragments of their original worlds. Some were humanoid, some monstrous, and others were forms that defied description altogether. All were drawn to the instability caused by the quantum nexus, feeding off the chaos. In the midst of this destruction, a new figure emerged from the shadows. She was a woman, armored in sleek, dark metal, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Her name was Commander Ilara Novus, leader of a group called the Chrono Wardens, a collective of warriors from across various timelines, who had long been tasked with guarding the balance of the multiverse. "Ilara," Aaron said, his voice laced with both respect and urgency. "We have little time. The collapse is accelerating. We need to repair the quantum nexus." Commander Novus crossed her arms. "The nexus? That's a fool's errand. It's too far gone. What you've done can't be fixed. But I will help you, for what it's worth." Lena was taken aback. "Why would you help us? You're not from this timeline." "Because," Ilara's voice hardened, "I've seen worlds fall before. I've lost timelines. If there's a chance we can stabilize this one, we have to try. If we don't, every world, every version of us, will cease to exist. Lena nodded, steeling herself for the challenges ahead. The task was monumental, but now, with the help of Erin and Ilara, she had no choice but to press forward. Chapter 3, The Convergence of Realities. Lena, Erin, and Ilara embarked on their journey to the heart of Zenith's quantum core. Along the way, they were joined by two more key characters. The first was Kailan, a brilliant but eccentric physicist from a distant future where technology had advanced so far that humanity had learned to manipulate the very structure of reality. Kailan was an inventor, obsessed with uncovering the true nature of existence. His reality had been ravaged by the quantum nexus incident, but he was determined to piece together the puzzle. He brought with him a Divisio, a temporal anchor that could temporarily stabilize rifts in time and space. The second was Zara, a rogue dimension traveler from a universe where mankind had evolved into an entirely different species. Zara's appearance was striking. Her skin had a silvery sheen, and her eyes were entirely black. She had the unique ability to slip between dimensions without the use of technology. She had been tracking the rift caused by the Nexus and saw Lena's failure as an opportunity to find something she had been searching for: answers about her own existence. "I don't care about saving your world, Lena," Zara said bluntly as they made their way toward the Nexus. "But I will help you if it gets me closer to my goal." Lena, understanding the urgency of their situation, didn't question her motives. "We need all the help we can get." Chapter 4, The Labyrinth of Time. The closer they got to the core, the more distorted the world around them became. As the timeline fractured, it seemed like time itself was folding upon itself. One moment, they would walk through a peaceful, idyllic garden, only to step into a battlefield the next. They crossed through a city in ruins, a technological utopia, and even an ancient world where dinosaurs still roamed. "What's happening to the world?" Lena asked, looking around as the environment shifted again, this time into a desert landscape, with a red sun hanging low in the sky. "It's the rifts," Kailan explained. "Every moment, every possibility, is being pulled together. The boundaries between universes are dissolving. The further we travel, the more we'll encounter the echoes of what could have been." Lena knew that they were running out of time. "We need to stabilize the Nexus, or all these timelines, and everything in them, will cease to exist." The group pressed on, battling through increasingly dangerous anomalies and unstable environments, each step bringing them closer to the heart of the quantum nexus. As they neared the core, they encountered strange and terrifying creatures, beings of energy, shadow, and flamey manifestations of the chaos. These entities were bent on ensuring that the rift remained open. Ilara led the charge, her energy blade cutting through the creatures with precision. Kailan used his temporal anchor to push back the rift, while Zara darted in and out of dimensions to avoid the creatures, her silvery form flickering in and out of sight. "We're almost there," Ilara called, determination in her voice. Chapter 5, The Final Convergence. At last, they arrived at the quantum nexus, the heart of the rift. The core pulsed with unstable energy, its gravitational pull warping the very air around them. "This is it," Lena said, her voice steady but full of tension. "We have to act now." But Erin stepped forward, his expression troubled. "There is one more thing. To stabilize the nexus, we must make a sacrifice. A life must be offered to seal the rift permanently." Lena's heart skipped a beat. "What? No, there must be another way." Erin's eyes softened. "There is no other choice. The balance can only be restored through selflessness. A life must be given to heal the wound in space-time." Lena stood frozen. The weight of the decision was unbearable. She looked around at her companions, each of them a hero in their own right, each carrying the pain of their own worlds. But then, a voice cut through the tension. "I will make the sacrifice," Zara said, stepping forward. Her expression was resolute, if it means saving all of you and finding the answers I seek, I will give my life. Lena looked at Zara, her heart heavy with grief. There has to be another way. Zara smiled faintly, her black eyes gleaming with acceptance. Some things are worth giving up. It's the price of discovery. In the end, Zara's sacrifice stabilized the quantum nexus, and the rifts began to close. The worlds were restored, but the price was steep. Epilogue: a universe reborn as the timelines were repaired. The echoes of those lost worlds faded. But for Lena and her companions, life would never be the same. They had witnessed the birth and death of realities, but the ultimate question remained: had they truly saved their universe, or had they simply delayed its inevitable collapse? The multiverse had been saved for now. But the rift was not gone. It was only contained, waiting to find its way out again. And when it did, Lena knew that she would be ready.